Hello, by the name of National Irene. I'll be taking you through into a module called Introduction to Healthcare Management. Well, today in our lecture, we shall look at the introductory part where we shall try to define some key terminologies. For instance, healthcare management or healthcare management is the essential or it is essential in the delivery of quality of healthcare services, where we expect managers to play a very critical role in ensuring the smooth operation of healthy care. And we also expect them to provide an overview of healthcare management where they look into different areas of healthcare organizations. Then, furthermore, we shall try to look at the next slide, as in what we expect in our managers to do, what could be their role. But as we've seen in the terminology defining what they are, we say just a simple little recap that it is healthcare management is an overview where we expect quite a lot of umbrella terms that cover a wide job titles. For example, like like the clinical directors, the healthcare supervisors, the health coordinators, the nursing home facilitators, and not forgetting the public health centers. So, where do we need the healthcare managers? We need them in quite a variety we need them in very many things because we expect them to increase complexity of healthcare services as created as a need to as created as a need for managers with a broad range of skills and competencies. We also expect them that they have or they must be able to work effectively in a diverse and a changing environment. So their perspective must be flexible, and they also should be able to manage people, resources, and the programs of the organization. So in summary, that's what we expect to see the healthcare managers what they are supposed to do. So they also, I forgot something, they also take or play a very big role in making sure that they act as the spokesperson of the organization where they provide information to the media. They also collaborate with medical staffs on issues as medical equipment, departmental budgets, planning ways to ensure the facility meets their goals and maintaining good relationship with the doctors, nurses, all cadres who are working in the healthcare centers. So now that we know who the healthcare managers are, then we shall go to definition or defining what management is all about. Management is the process of planning. Okay, that is one is the process of planning. It is the process of organizing. It is the process of leading. It is the process of controlling resources so that we can achieve organizational goals. And furthermore, healthcare management is also essential in making sure that we must assure high quality care to our dear patients. Okay, so but furthermore, I'll take you through other definitions of management. Management is also a process of dealing with, or it is the process of controlling things, all people. So if we control people, then we know that they are going to successfully accomplish or fulfilling the organizational goals. So furthermore, according to Mary Parker in the year 1868, he tried to define management as the act of getting things done through people. Okay, there is no way you can talk about management and you don't think about in the back of your head to have individuals who will help you in delivering of the services that you're going to give to the people. So that's why Mary suggested or defined it that management is the art of getting things to be done through people. So in the aspect of art, we look at several many modalities or ways on how we can make people to get things to be done. So that is what, according to Mary, she looked at the definition of management. But furthermore, as we look at management, it is also the action of measuring a, a quantity on a regular basis and also adjusting some and also adjusting some of the initial plan. Or it is also when you look at the action that has to be taken to reach one's intended goals. That's why we say that you need people who you will try to help you in taking action on what necessary steps you need to measure while making your initial plans or while taking action that is required for you to accomplish your goals. Furthermore, management is the organizational process that we use, or that when you look at it, it helps us in creating a service. A service where a service or a product from raw materials we have at hand. So if we have got our raw materials at hand, we need management or we need managers who will try to help those raw materials to be successful, be used so that we can receive completed services or so that we can receive products that are created out of those raw materials. Further still, management it is also the sum of the input process that allows us to mold something useful from what otherwise is a panic of human resources and raw components. So probably if something is not good, then we need to mold it. When we mold it, we make it to be something that is much more better or something that is better to be used as a service or a product. So through management, it helps us in such kind of a way. Further still, management it also helps us in looking at the output of this controlled processing which creates a valuable product or services or which someone is generally willing to pay. So when customers or clients or patients do come to the healthcare centers, they expect us to give them products or services which they are willing to pay because they know they are good kind of services because they are available according to how we are having a strong management team into our healthcare centers. Further still, so for the manager's job is to help all the processes run smoothly and address the roadblocks to successful output, so that at the end of it all, he removes all the roadblock so that the services and the products are very good. So that is what we expect into our management. So what do we expect in management? Or what is management involved in? I'll take you through to what management is involved involved in. Well, management is universal in the modern industry world, and there is no substitute for management. So, therefore, it makes human effort more productive. Okay, so that we bring management help us to bring all about better technology, better products, and better services to our societies. So if you go to the healthcare centers, we want the societies or communities to be happy with what is given out to them in the healthcare centers. We look at how we must have a very strong, good management team. So, secondly, what also is involved in management is the crucial economical resources and a life-giving element in business. Okay, so without a proper management, the resources of production, that is to say, the men, the machines, and materials, cannot be converted into production. So therefore, thus management is a very vital function that is concerned with all aspects of the working of an organization. Furthermore, what is also involved in management is that management is a must to accomplish desired goals. Okay, through group action. Because earlier on we said you must have people to help you get things done. So if you want to accomplish that desired goal, you must take a group of action through people, of which this will look it into that it is essential to convert the disorganized resources of men, machines, and materials, and even methods of into a useful and effective enterprises. So if we have disorganized resources, then how can we organize them to be more useful so that we can use it to successfully accomplish the desired goals of the organization? And further still, when we go back to the definition, it emphasizes that accomplishment of task through the efforts of the people. We are seeing how it makes a distinction between managers and non-managers. Okay, well, when we look at managers, what is their role in this in management, or how do we use them to let them get involved in management? For managers, they guide and they coordinate the efforts of others towards certain specified goals. However, on the other side of the non-managers, actually for them they perform the tasks, and that's why they differ from managers and then the non-managers. More to that, when we also look at a high level, the subordinates are themselves mostly managers. Okay, whereby it means management of managers at a supervisory levels. The subordinates are non-managers. managerial, white collar or blue collar jobs workers, sorry. So however, when we furthermore getting things to be done, it means we need to get the tasks and activities to be performed by the people. So in management, we must get things to be done through people, both individuals and as members of the work group. Okay, so further still, of getting things to be done through people is really an art, because the word art sounds to be an obvious thing, but when we look into the practicability of it in management, it is where it gets interesting. So here it comprises a range of skills that is acquired and that is redefined in the course of practice. Okay, so the skills which are required to get things done through people must consist of one, conceptual skills, two, technical skills, three, administrative skills, four, social skills, and etc. etc. So, further still, what is also involved in management is that with a view to get things done through people, management has to first plan the things which are to be done. So the plan must be performed to attain the objectives that are that are determined and assigned to individuals and work unit. So in summary, management has to desire the techniques and methods of getting things to be done. So there are effect of which these techniques it requires the effective leadership, team spirit, people's participation, appropriate system of cash and non-cash incentives, and so on. So further still, we also look at the obstacles, the problems, and the disorganization in the work environment that we have to be removed or we need to minimize so that at the end of it all, we successfully get things to be done by individuals. Further still, before I go to the next slide, I would like also to talk about the managerial skills and the organizational hierarchy. Because previously I mentioned that getting things to be done by people, it comprises a range of skills which needs to be done. So what are those managerial skills that a manager must be having if he wants to successfully lead people or direct people in the working environment or in healthcare organizations? One is what we call technical skills. Technical skills, it is the knowledge of and proficiency in activity involving methods, process, and procedures. Okay, so thus it involves working with the tools and specifically work. For instance, if we look at a supervisor, we should say that he or she must have the ability to teach, okay? He must have the ability on how to use the tools for mechanical work. You cannot say that you're having a doctor who is supposed to conduct maybe an operation and he does not know how to use or how to have the technical skills which are required by him or her. Secondly, is the human skills. In the human skills, it refers to the ability to work with people, okay? Because some of individuals or some of the employees come from different caliber, okay? Whereby when you look at all those individuals who are coming from different environment, then how will you be working and dealing with such kind of individuals? So here we expect that you as a manager, you must have the human skills to make sure that you create an environment in which people or a person feels secure and free to express their opinions. Then number three is the conceptual skill, which is also another managerial skill that one must have as a very good manager. In conceptual skill, we are looking at the ability to recognize the elements in a situation and also to understand the relationship among the elements. Lastly is the design skills. In the design skills, we are looking at the ability to solve the problem in such a way that it will benefit the organization. So and that is what we expect to be as the managerial skills that a manager must have. On the other hand, because I talked of managerial skills and the organizational hierarchy, then how is it important or what is the importance of these skills that we have mentioned. So these skills are very important. They serve a various relevancy and they may differ at a various level in the organization hierarchy. For example, because we know an organization hierarchy has got three levels of hierarchy. One is the lower level management, we have the middle management, and we have lastly the top management. How are these skills that I've mentioned are relevant at these three levels of management? Well, one, lower level management, we expect lower level managers to have technical skills which are of greatest importance. We also expect them to have human skills that are also very helpful in interaction with subordinates, but conceptual skills are normally not critical for them. Then at the middle management, for example, where we expect the middle management managers, they need for technical skills, which decreases. And when you look at the human skills, are still essential, and the conceptual skills gain in importance. So for the middle managers, the technical skills, it decreases. However, the human skills are still essential and the conceptual skills are gain on importance. So they need the conceptual skills. Lastly is the top management. For top managers, they require conceptual skills and human skills that are very variable to them. But there is very less need for technical ability. So this is probably more especially this is true for a large companies. But in small organizations, technical skills may still be quite important. So let's take note of that. So as I summarize in my definition of management, and also looking at the managerial skills and the organization hierarchy. Uh, Management is concerned with productivity, that is to say, it looks at the effectiveness and efficiency, whereby productivity can be measured as the output to input ratio with a time period with a consideration of quality. So now let us go to our next slide where we are looking at the functions of management. So in the functions of management, this includes the following. One, we look at one of the function of management is we have planning, we have organizing, we have staffing, we have directing, we have controlling. So these five functions are they are they were outlined by companies and O'Daniel in their functional of managers. So what do we mean by in details? We shall go through what we mean by this kind of this kind of functions. So when we talk about the functions of a manager, they set it is the, it is a set of interrelated activities that are necessary for effective organizational performance. For example, when we look at planning, what do we expect to see in planning? Because in planning, we are saying that we are looking at how we have to determine the goals and objectives of the organization. In planning, we also are supposed to develop strategies or methods that we can put in place or in use to help us accomplish or achieve the goals of the organization. Furthermore, in planning, it also help us in creation, or it also help us in taking action plans that we can use to implement the strategies that we later developed and we put them into action or into of use. But furthermore, I would also like to look at the other three types of planning. Number one, we have what we call strategic planning. In strategic planning, it is a long range planning that is normally completed by top level managers in an organization. For example, a strategic decision managers what they have to make, who the customers should be, what the products should be, where the products are going to be sold or the services. So in simple terms, they are the ones who are going to make the strategic decisions. Then another type of planning is what we call tactical planning or operational planning. In summary, it is the short range planning, whereby it is done for the benefit of lower level managers. Since it is the process of developing every detailed strategies about what needs to be done, who should do it, and how it should be done. So in this planning, it looks at the operational activities that are supposed to be performed by the lower managers. And lastly is the contingency planning. In contingency planning, it allows for alternative course of action where the primary plans that have being developed do not achieve the goal of the organization. For example, when you look at in today's economic environment, plans may need to be changed very rapidly. So if you had planned previously and because of the new changes that have occurred in the environment, then you need to work very fast to adopt into the new changes of the environment. So our next function of a manager is organizing. In the slide, there is a files which are organized by a manager because organizing is we are looking at how to determine the tasks and the responsibilities. Okay, because in an organized way, we want to know who is to perform this task and who are the people or individuals responsible to perform those tasks. It will also help us in creating a structure for the organization and also helping us in developing policies and procedures which we use while making sure that things are organized in a very good manner. But further still, organizing is a process of arranging and allocating work, authority, and resources among an organization member so that they can achieve organization or organizational goals. Okay, so managers arrange a framework that links all workers, tasks, and resources together so that the organizational goals can be achieved. Okay, and how can they be achieved? That's why earlier on talked of the organizational structure, and they also help us in organizing so that things give a proper shape to be to the structure that should execute the plan smoothly to achieve its success of the organization. So organizing help us in that manner. So another function of management is what we call staffing. And in staffing, it is basically where we are talking about the staffing function of management involves identifying or selecting the right person for executing each task that you have planned. Okay, so the staffing function includes all the jobs connected with recruitment. One, it also involves selection. Okay, it also involves training. It also involves placement. It also involves remuneration appraisal, promotion, career planning of human resources in the organization to be accomplished the task effectively and efficiently. Okay, so in staffing, that's what we expect. We expect that it will help us to determine the staffing needs based on the organizational goals and also making sure we recruit, we select that have said placing, training, and all that, which it will help for a candidate for a job. Okay, it also helps in developing and maintaining a productive workforce through training and performing of management. So it is also another function where others are looking at directing us as leading. So in directing, it is a process that may it is a process that may people would most relate to managing. So it is the supervising or leading workers to accomplish the goals of the organization. Okay, so when you're directing people to accomplish a certain goal of the organization, then you're leading them. In the picture, you're seeing there is an old man out where it is in a red color. So in that scenario, we are looking at that red person in the middle to be the one who is directing the rest of the other subordinates where they are expected to go in terms of making sure that things have to be accomplished by the organizations, or things have to be accomplished according to what they are doing. And further still, directing is also a primary aim that is used to guide and motivate employees towards making sure they achieve organization goals, and as well as towards making sure that there has to be effective requirement, a clear communication that you as a manager you communicate to let the subordinates know what direction you want them to go in. And we also expect proper delegation, because I know with delegation a lot of us fear to delegate our activities to our subordinates. Okay, because we fear they might perform better than us and take the our jobs, and we shall be left jobless. But a very good manager, you should direct, and in direction, it has to be a proper daily delegation. And we have also to look at in direction, we consider establishment of positive work environment, the environment of where all employees have to work in a very positive working environment. So, furthermore, is what we call as controlling. In controlling, it is more of monitoring process towards the goals of the organization. It makes necessary adjustments to ensure that the objectives must be met. Okay, and also it also evaluates performance of the employees and taking corrective necessary measures to correct or to take action that is needed. Okay, but further still, controlling, we also says that it involves evaluation of activities that a manager must perform. It is also the process of determining if the company's goals and objectives are being met. So in controlling, we expect that this is a process that also looking at the collecting situations in which the goals and the objectives must be met. Okay. Uh, so, we shall also try to look at other functions of management according to different scholars. For example, according to Luther Gillick, so to him he looks at other seven functions of management where he identified there is Gulick identified there is planning, which we have already mentioned about. We have organizing, we have directing, we have controlling, we have coordinating, reporting, and budgeting. What do we mean by coordinating? Coordinating to him, Ruther says that it is the integration, and synchronization of the efforts of a group so as to provide unity of each organizational goals. So when you make them to coordinate amongst themselves, then you look at that kind of unity where action has to be accomplished or has to be done so that in a wrong process we successfully accomplish the organization goals. And then two is reporting. In reporting, it's where in most cases we look at reporting everything that is taking place in the organization. Let it be failures, let it be positive. We have to report everything so that in terms of those failures, we look at the ways on how we can polish and improve or suggest better strategies to handle or to overcome those barriers. Lastly is budgeting. Budgeting, these are primarily tools for management, which when we look at these primary tools, we have three types of budgets. We have an operational budget or operation budgets. Sorry, we have capital budgets, and lastly we have strategic or strategy budget. And why do we need or why do we look at budgeting as also another function that managers must have potential in? Because it helps them in planning. It's really very essential for them in direction and motivation. It also helps them in evaluation process. It helps them in coordination. And lastly, it helps them in evaluation and our analysis. That is why we may need budgeting and to add it as another function of management. Further still, we shall look at other other definition or sorry other functions of management according to Henry Fayol. So Henry Fayol, he looks at there are also several types of sorry several functions of management where he also talks about planning, organizing, staffing, leading, which is directing, controlling, and lastly is motivating. So I'll talk about motivating because the other previous scholars have not talked about it. Motivating is the process of stimulating an individual to take action that will accomplish a desired goals. I know a lot of health cadres or employees, they prefer or they love to be motivated. When you motivate them, you give them the guts to be active so that at the end of it all, they can perform better when they are motivated. So we need to look into that factor when we are looking at the function of a very good manager. Because if you don't, when you don't motivate your employees, obviously they will be dormant. And when they are dormant, it will take us back to the definition of making things to get or to be done by people. And where you're not motivating them, they cannot they cannot perform. So, further still, in our next subtopic, we shall also look at the integration of the functions of management. When we integrate the functions of management, we look at the functions of management are interrelated or interconnected and must be integrated to achieve organizational goals. This means that all the functions of managers that I've talked about, where at first I talked about planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, budgeting, and motivating. We have to integrate all those so that in a long run we achieve the organizational goals. Further still, healthcare managers they have to balance the demands of each function to ensure the effective and efficient delivery of healthcare services. Sorry, where you don't balance, at the end of it all, it will be difficult for you to successfully accomplish the goals of the organization. That's why we are putting more emphasis of balancing so that everything runs smoothly as we have planned for them. So further still, I'll also talk about importance of the function of management in healthy care. So management functions are very essential in healthcare organization. They are also helpful to ensure the delivery of high quality care to patients. Okay, so that at the end of it all, we expect a very good healthcare manager. He must possesses the skills that we mentioned about. Mind you, earlier on I mentioned you the managerial skills, which are supposed to be or it is a must that a manager must have those skills the conceptual skills, the human skills, the technical skills, etc. is very, or these are very essential skills that a manager must have. And we also look at the competencies, that a manager, a very good manager must be competent enough to effectively perform each function and integrate them to achieve the organization goals. If he doesn't have, or if he's not potential enough, then we shall at the end of it all have some queries, or we shall be stuck at the end of it all. So we expect that he must have the potential on knowing what he or she must do. So further still, we shall go to our next slide, which talks about healthcare managers. Okay, who are these healthcare managers? Because I previously talked about the healthcare managers, what their role could be. But a simple or a little bit to take you back on the who are the healthcare managers. We said that they oversee the administration they oversee the administration of the healthcare system. That's what we expect them to do in healthcare centers. They have to oversee the administration of the healthcare system. They also have to manage and understand the healthy sectors in details, working alongside clinician and provide to oversee organizational function, which includes strategic planning, which also includes budgeting, which also includes policy making and gender setting, which also includes administrative, personal training, and professional development. But further still, they are also need to ensure that the facility in which they work complies with laws and regulations. Okay, they need also to prepare and monitor, budget, and manage finances, including patient's fee and billing. Okay, so but further still, healthcare managers are you look at they oversee what I've mentioned. They oversee the medical facilitation. They work within the terms and conditions on nurses. and other health cadres. They are also responsible in looking at budgeting, which I've already mentioned, staffing, and ensuring quality, and they also ensuring quality of care to patients. So that's what I have for you today. I was looking at the introductory part of healthcare management, where we defined it healthcare management or healthcare organization. We also defined it management itself. We looked at managerial and managerial skills. We looked at hierarchy, organization or organizational hierarchy, and several many other things that we looked at according to this presentation of today. So allow me to stop from here. We shall meet next time. Bye.